You might remember that kids' movie Explorers from the 80s. Well, I'm Wolfgang, and in this story that takes place in the year 1991, a lot has changed. I know, back then we were just a bunch of kids, curious, adventurous, doing things with technology that seemed impossible, building our own spaceship, talking to aliens, exploring the unknown. It was wild, right? But the truth is, that was just the beginning. That was the spark. Now, here we are, years later. We're not kids anymore. Ben, Lori, and I. Well, we've all grown up, and we're studying things far beyond the reaches of our childhood imaginations. We're not just dabbling in tech now. We're diving into the deepest questions of existence, the nature of consciousness, and the very fabric of reality itself. We're at Stanford University, working in labs, researching quantum mechanics. Not exactly what you'd expect from a group of kids who once flew through a movie screen, but you know, life has a funny way of bringing you full circle. You see, the things we discovered back then, those circuits we built from dreams, the strange energy fields, the extraterrestrial communications, those weren't just fantasies. They were real. But as we grew older, we realized there was more to it, a lot more. And that's where I've ended up. I've dedicated my life to a pursuit that might seem, well, crazy to some, but I know what I've seen, what I've felt. I've seen Nique, the Green Energy Collective, remember? She's not just some alien. She's a consciousness, a frequency, a force beyond physicality. I've been working with the energies I first encountered as a kid, and let me tell you, it's not the stuff of fiction. It's a reality that ties together sacred geometry, cosmic alignments, and a very real connection to the energy that courses through the universe. In this story, we're exploring what happens when you begin to manipulate that energy. When you bend the fabric of gravity, when you tap into the power of the sun, when you start transducing solar energy directly into consciousness itself. That's what we're doing now. We're constructing these geometric spheres using crystals, metals, and sacred shapes to channel energy. It's like trying to bring together science and spirituality in a way that no one else has before. We're not just looking at physics, we're experiencing it, living it. And yeah, I'm still trying to reach Nique. I've gone as far as to vow my entire life to this cause. You see, it's not just about science for me. It's about something deeper. It's about understanding the universe, the interconnectedness of everything, and eventually reaching the place where I can transcend this body and meet her again. I know that sounds insane, but it's the truth. Ben and Lori, they're on this path with me, of course, but I've changed. I've gone farther than them, spiritually, I guess you could say. And it's not easy. Every step feels like it's pulling me farther away from the world I once knew, but closer to something greater. There's a reason why we're tapping into these symbols, these energies. They're not random. They're the code to the universe. And once we unlock that code, there's no telling where it will take us. But here's the thing. We're not alone in this. Not really. The Green Energy Collective, they're always there, communicating with us through dreams, through symbols. And every time I look at these geometric patterns, these sacred shapes, I see it more clearly. It's not just the energy, it's the message. This is what we've been preparing for. The way I see it, this journey is far from over. It's just the beginning. So, yeah, this is where I am now, still chasing that distant light, trying to decode the universe. And maybe one day, when all the symbols line up, when the energy flows just right, I'll finally be able to connect with Nique again. But for now, I keep going. Because the journey, the search for knowledge, is everything.
Explorers 2, The Search for Nique, Preview, sequel to the 1985 movie. Key points and highlights. Setting and time frame. The year is 1991. in the Bay Area of California. Placing Ben and Wolfgang at Stanford University to study quantum mechanics is a great leap forward from the events of the original film, where they were younger explorers dabbling in extraordinary technology. Now they are postgraduate students, mature, academically skilled, and positioned in a place with a culture of innovation and openness. The Bay Area's reputation for visionary thinking, existential philosophies, quantum research, and belief in extraterrestrial life grounds the story. It gives them access to a hub of like-minded individuals, cutting-edge theories, and the kind of intellectual freedom that would encourage expanding the original Explorers' concepts. Connection to the first movie. The original Explorers film opened the door to psychic communication and extraterrestrial contact through the dream-inspired circuit board. In this continuation, that concept is not only carried forward but expanded into its logical consequences. Postgraduate Wolfgang and Ben are taking these visionary experiences and turning them into structured research projects at a top university. Darren's role has evolved too. In the original film, he was a bit less open-minded. Now he has joined the Air Force and is seeking a more concrete, official way to approach the extraterrestrial question, reflecting how different personalities might respond to the unknown. Character evolutions and spiritual development. Ben and Wolfgang are now mature scholars who are systematically testing and refining the technologies glimpsed in their youth. They are no longer wide-eyed kids. They are serious researchers working on gravitational fields, energy conduction patterns, and direct access to solar power. Each step a more grounded, methodical pursuit of what was once a wild dream. Lori is now a key participant, not just a bystander. She has developed the ability to dream and receive extraterrestrial communications just like Ben and Wolfgang, completing a trio that regularly engages in astral travel and psychic connection. This integration suggests a communal spiritual bond rather than a singular genius. Darren has chosen a path of officialdom, military, aerospace, and government clearance. While not as spiritually or psychically developed, he has carved out a practical route to verify extraterrestrial life. This divergence of paths gives tension and texture to the group's dynamics. Nique and the Green Energy Aliens. Introducing Nique as a non-physical energy being, one that Wolfgang is spiritually devoted to, adds a layer of mysticism and depth. Wolfgang's near-monastic dedication to reaching a higher state of consciousness so he can be with Nique is a profound narrative thread. The Green Alien Collective, and the idea that their communication comes through dreams and symbols, weaves together quantum physics, spirituality, ecology, through Gaia, and interstellar connection. It is a holistic approach, merging science and spirituality into one framework of understanding. Technological and mystical integration. The team's new project involves a false gravity chamber and attempts to recreate the indigo science sphere from the first movie's dream-inspired experiments, now elevated through various clean energies, wind, water, solar, and geothermal. The dream-derived designs, the code for tapping into solar energy directly, and the potential of unlocking infinite power for the sphere all reflect a convergence of cutting-edge physics with visionary, symbolic knowledge. The layering of elemental energies, air, water, fire/solar, earth, into the design resonates with a broader spiritual ecosystem, tying the technology back to nature and universal forces. Honoring River Phoenix. The story is set in a place and time that River Phoenix might have naturally migrated to in his own life, San Francisco, a city known for music, open-minded exploration, and visionary culture. This feels like a tribute not just to the character he played, Wolfgang, and his role in Explorers, but to River himself as an artist known for his sensitivity, depth, and desire for more meaningful pursuits. By doing so, the sequel becomes an organic extension of both the fictional universe and the actor's real-world personality and values. It becomes a meta-narrative, a tribute story that respects River's memory by placing his character in an environment that encourages spiritual and intellectual expansion. Overall impression. This introduction successfully establishes a deeply expanded universe, both in scale, from simple dream-inspired technology to tapping into the sun's energy and traveling the solar system, and in conceptual depth, integrating quantum physics, spirituality, and ecological consciousness. It maintains continuity with the first Explorers while naturally evolving its themes into something far more profound and visionary. Explorers 2. The Search for Nique, Aleka's Ashes. Thank you, River, for choosing roles that open audiences up the way you did. You are an essential part of history, helping to guide humanity into a better timeline. This is the introduction to Explorers 2, The Search for Nique. In this sequel, the story moves beyond the initial awakening, beyond the first glimpses into visualization, extraterrestrials, and psychic communication. If those doors have already been opened in the minds of the characters, then the next step is natural. They have expanded their abilities and consciousness, evolving in ways that the first film only began to explore. The story takes place in 1991 in the Bay Area of California. Ben and Wolfgang are now postgraduate students in quantum mechanics at Stanford University. This setting was chosen deliberately. In 1991, the Bay Area was a hub for visionaries, scientists, philosophers, and free thinkers exploring quantum physics, extraterrestrial experiences, and spiritual expansion. Many of them had encountered dreams, astral travel, and strange transmissions of knowledge. Conversations were happening everywhere, from laboratories to coffee shops, about the possibility of receiving information through visualization, about the intersection of science and spirituality, and about the mysteries of the cosmos. The original Explorers film touched on the concept of receiving circuit board designs through dreams. This sequel takes that concept further, placing it in an era and environment where real-life innovators were actively exploring the nature of consciousness and reality itself. The setting is fitting, not only because the first Explorers movie was filmed in Saratoga, California, near the filming location of E.T., but because it is only a short distance from Stanford, one of the world's leading institutions for cutting-edge scientific research. San Francisco, just 50 miles north, has long been known as the epicenter of visionary art, philosophy, and quantum exploration. It is a city of seekers, of those who believe in something beyond the tangible world. This also happens to be where River Phoenix wanted to move to pursue his music career. In this story, he is placed in the environment he was drawn to, an alternate timeline where his character continues his journey of discovery in the way he might have in reality. It makes sense that, after their childhood experience, Ben and Wolfgang would be drawn toward academia, seeking to refine and document their discoveries. They now have access to the resources they need: laboratories, research funding, and advanced equipment. Their work is no longer a child's experiment. It is the foundation for something greater. Darren, their friend from the first movie, has taken a different path. He has joined the Air Force, determined to study extraterrestrial life from within the military structure. Unlike Ben and Wolfgang, he seeks proof through tangible means, through classified technologies, through access to the skies, through the rigid systems of government research. He visits his friends from time to time, but he recognizes that his consciousness was once a limiting factor. Now, he hopes to serve their research in his own way, gaining insight from a different angle. Ben and Wolfgang, however, are evolving in another direction. Over the years, they have deepened their practice of astral travel, visualization, and communication with extraterrestrial consciousness. Lori, Ben's longtime partner, has also developed the ability to receive transmissions in her dreams. Together, the three of them have been studying ancient spiritual traditions, drawing parallels between different civilizations' understanding of psychic communication. They recognize that their first experience was shaped by their perceptions, a guided introduction to something far more complex than they initially understood. There is a small but crucial detail in the original Explorers film that many overlook. Their ship flies through the drive-in movie screen and momentarily becomes part of the movie itself. This was a subtle clue. Their journey was not just about space travel, but about the nature of reality and perception. Wolfgang, in particular, has undergone a profound transformation. Now 21, he has dedicated his life to seeking Nique, the extraterrestrial consciousness he encountered as a child. He has remained completely celibate, uninterested in the fleeting distractions of human relationships. He has seen Nique in many forms, learning that she is not a fixed being, but an energy, an entity beyond physical limitation. Through his studies, he has come to understand that to be with her, he must evolve beyond his human form. He has taken a vow, much like a monk, dedicating himself entirely to this pursuit. At the start of this story, Wolfgang and Ben are working on a groundbreaking experiment. Using advanced electromagnetic technology, They have created a contained gravitational field, a small chamber in which they can manipulate artificial gravity. This is based on transmissions they received from the Green Alien Energy Collective, of which Nique and Wack are leaders. The project has involved trial and error, testing various sustainable energy sources: wind, water turbines, solar energy, and geothermal power. Each has yielded different results. Through extensive experimentation, they have discovered that solar energy, directly harnessed from the sun, is the cleanest and most effective power source. They have also begun constructing intricate geometric structures, designs received through dreams, much like the circuit board in the first film. But these are more complex, composed of metals, crystals, and conductive materials, acting as conduits for energy. Nique has revealed to Wolfgang that if they can directly access the sun's energy, they will create an infinitely sustainable power source for their cyan indigo sphere, the same spherical energy field they first discovered in childhood. With unlimited solar power, they will be able to travel throughout the entire solar system. Beyond that, there are even greater possibilities. A deeper code exists, one that could allow them to travel through the galaxy. And beyond that, a code for interdimensional travel throughout the universe. For now, their work is focused. Each day, they wake up, enter their lab, and attempt to translate the symbols they have received in their dreams. It is an intricate process, one that demands patience and precision. They are close, so close, but the final key has yet to reveal itself. This is where the story begins. Explorers 2. The search for Nique is dedicated to the spirit and life of River Phoenix. It is not just a continuation of a film, it is a continuation of a journey. It envisions a path that River himself might have taken, had things been different. Through this story, his search for knowledge, his love of music, and his belief in something greater are honored. And through this story, exploration reaches beyond space, into the infinite possibilities of consciousness, visualization, and the true nature of reality itself. In the years following their first journey through dream-fueled cosmic schematics, Wolfgang and Ben immersed themselves in deep study. Their obsession with the unknown, ancient technologies, sacred geometry, and the energy blueprints hidden within the universe consumed them. They pored over countless books, channeled alien wavelengths in their dreams, and retraced the energetic shapes they had seen since childhood. All of it pointed to one thing: the codes of creation, drawn in geometry, energy, color, and vibration. Wolfgang, the more scientific of the two, became fixated on harnessing those symbols to conduct and transduce energy. He built a chamber with false gravity, using crystal and gold-based geometry to simulate and manipulate forces beyond Earth. When they finally tested one of the new energy constructs within Earth's gravity field, even on a small scale, it triggered a localized quake. The shock threw Ben into a coma. His consciousness jolted from his body. But Wolfgang knew this was not the end. In fact, it was just the beginning. Their prior journey had revealed how consciousness could travel without the body, wrapped in projection, illusion, and protective constructs tailored by the mind. Now, with Ben gone from waking life, Wolfgang was determined to find him again in the space beyond, between dimensions across timelines. In his heart, Wolfgang carried another purpose too. Since their return from that first encounter, he had not loved another. He had saved himself romantically, energetically, for Nique, the green being he had connected with beyond the stars. She was not just an alien. She was the embodiment of a frequency, the Gaian green energy consciousness. She was the emissary of something older, deeper, the soul of Earth, seated by cosmic origins. And she was calling him again. Wolfgang began to track the energies of light, color, and elemental vibration. He studied how each hue, each pattern of sacred shape, connected to higher dimensions. Green was the bridge to Earth's feminine essence. But to reach Nique again, he would need to ascend beyond Gaia, to the galactic source she originated from. His journey would move from Earth-based perception to solar consciousness, and then to the galactic and even universal scale. His experiments grew bolder. He began transmuting sunlight through intricate gold-layered sheets etched with channel geometry. He refined the angles and intersections of each crystalline shape, feeding sunlight through them until the energy pulsed with life. And finally, on a day of perfect resonance, he activated one of the new structures within his gravity chamber. It worked, but it did not just work on the chamber. It worked on the planet. A force field, the same kind of spherical containment energy from their first journey, grew and expanded until it encompassed the Earth itself. The entire planet became the ship. The shift was seamless. Humanity did not notice, but the Earth had become a vessel, silently guided through space by Wolfgang's consciousness. This was only the beginning. From here, the adventure will unfold across the solar system, where each planet reveals mysteries tied to the next layer of awakening. And when the time is right, when the planetary journey unlocks the final code, Wolfgang will reach galactic consciousness. Only then can he truly reconnect with Nique, and only then will he be ready to discover the larger geometry of love, spirit, and destiny that connects every world.